Hello, my name is Lin Nguyen. In this video I'll be going over how to paint weights in Maya 2012. The reason I'm re-recording this video is because some of the tools have changed or have broke. For example, smoothing weights simply doesn't work as well as it used to anymore, so I simply just say avoid that. And the only thing you should stick to this time is either component editor or to use just add. So why do I say the smoothing problem is something's wrong with it now? Well, it's okay with these right here. The problem about it is let's for example, if I had a full character on a single skeleton and I had weighted this whole section of the arm right here to the shoulder joint and this whole area down here to the elbow, if I start smoothing between the area, the problem is the vertices in here. Instead of smoothing and blending perfectly between the shoulder and the elbow, it starts pulling in other joints such as the shoulder, the clavicle, the spinal cord joints, possibly even the head joints or even the leg joints. It kind of randomly disperses itself to other joints, and that can cause a lot of problems. So nowadays, since version 2012, I just simply avoid using any smoothing at all. So my advice to you is to just use add or the component editor. So in here, I'm going to go over using both methods. I'm going to bind this arm to this arm right here. So just select the mesh, shift select the joint, aka the root joint of whatever the hierarchy is, and I'm going to go to skin, bind skin, smooth bind options. So I'm going to reset my settings, and there's certain things you want to make sure you select. The normalize weights you'll want to use interactive, so just click that and apply. This will allow you to move your character body around. So there are two methods to weighting characters. One is using the paint weights tool, which you can find underneath the animation, and this is a little icon right here. You can see it all black and red, or you can turn on the color ramp. This will let you see the color gradation between the two. I've gotten used to seeing this black and white, so it doesn't really bother me anymore. So white means that the current joint that's selected, those vertices in that area are fully controlled by the joint. So for example, I have shoulder selected, so all these areas are pure 100% white. They're being controlled by the shoulder joint. And areas that are black are not controlled by it. And so when you look at it by default, it's not too bad. It's just it goes in here a little bit further than you might like. And vice versa. If I click on the elbow, you can see how much is being controlled by that, along with the wrist. So what I like to do is to make sure none of these other joints are being controlled by nearby joints. For example, if you have a full skeleton, there's a high possibility that this elbow joint might be influenced by the clavicle, the shoulder, and possibly even one of the spinal cord joints here. Sometimes it reaches out that far and will cause problems. So what you want to do is remove the possibility of that ever happening. So the rule is flooding an area or selecting a lot of vertices and assigning a specific value to it. I mentioned another way of weighting, and that's using the component editor, which you can find under Window, General Editors, Component Editor. And you can go and simply go to the Smooth Skins area. In order to see anything pop up, you must select the vertices in that area, and you'll see it all pop up. Sometimes there are certain joints in which you can't see listed. You can go to Options and turn off Hide Zero columns, and that'll allow you to see areas that don't have any control over it. For example, if this is fully connected to a skeleton, you might see the leg joints pop up in this list if I turn off Hide Zero columns. So I'm going to flood this area. I'm going to select around here. I can say I want to flood it from top to bottom. So if I go to the shoulder, I can just take this whole shoulder here. I can just click on the top if I wanted to. Just click once on top, scroll all the way to the bottom, shift click, and if you type 0 or 1, see now it's 0, I'm going to turn hide 0 columns off, it pops right back up. If I put all 1, they're being fully controlled. So this means it's fully flooded. Easy way to check is if I go back to my paint weights tool, shoulder, it's fully connected. The other way we can do it is by using the flood command right here. and making sure your opacity and value is set to 1. So if I go here and just select certain vertices, I can also assign specific weight values in here by just typing in the value that I want. So for example, I know for sure, if I go straight to my front view, I want all of these vertices right here to be fully controlled, or at least partly controlled, by the elbow joint. But just to be safe, I'm going to select just a handful of them and set also all to exactly 100. So if I go to my shoulder here, I'm at my elbow, scroll all the way to the bottom, down to this bottom part, and type number 1. If I were to bend this now, it should have a perfectly sharp bend that has no relax in between the two. This is very similar to how a rigid bind is like. So let's take into account what makes the smooth bind so powerful. What makes a smooth bind nice is being able to get the point values in between. If I look at this right now, because it's fully rigid right now, when I bend anything, there's no give or anything. This part should be slightly affected by the shoulder, and vice versa. This area should be slightly controlled by the elbow joint. So using my paint weights tool, select my mesh, paint weights, I'm going to go and use the elbow right here, take my value so it's very low, click back in here to activate your viewport. I recommend doing this. Do not click directly on your mesh or you start painting on accident. So click up here first to activate, go inside, start brushing lightly in these areas. So I'm adding, actually right now I'm replacing, so I'm going to adding just adds a bit more of that value in it. I'm going to add a little bit more all across the board, just using add. And in turn I want to use a shoulder now and start adding on this side. Just a little bit, very subtly. Eventually we're going to deform and actually bend the arm to see what's actually going on. So now I'm going to take my ring here and bend the arm a bit. We can kind of see the deformation and areas that we don't like how it deforms. For example, this is looking really bad right now. This whole area looking pretty bad. So if I go inside now, using my shoulder, click back in here, I'll slowly brush this area until it starts looking more accurate. Taking this value down pretty low here. We're very subtly painting this area. Areas are going too far. If I just click back to the elbow and just paint it back. Paint that back. Starts going back to where I need it to go. Vice versa for all of these too. If I just want to nudge it a little bit, just nudge it slowly, painting it. Go back to my shoulder area, add a bit more to some of this. Push some of those back. This way I can get a nice pinch in this area. So very carefully painting. And this will give you that nice bend that you want. Again, the tool's slightly broken in this newer version. I'm sure those of you who have used Maya for a while kind of got used to this. So there you go, just using add very carefully. I'm noticing a slight problem right there. I don't like that, so I'm going to go in my shoulder, push that back, there. So I'm just weighting this, looking at how everything deforms. You gotta look at the bottom. Okay, I think that's acceptable. Now I get to the head. This is an area that's generally problematic. If I open or rotate the head up and down, I haven't binded it yet, so I'm going to select this, like the mesh, skin, smooth. Now if I make it look up, things are looking kind of odd. Yep. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flood the head predominantly with the head joint, because most of the wires are going to be weighted to the head. So, being this is floating, if for example if you worked on a mesh where all the parts are separate, I can use the head joint. I can use the flood value of 1, or again you can select all the vertices, go back to your component editor, and type the value of 1 inside. So, another rule I nearly forgot to mention is generally avoid to press undo. Autodesk claims that version 2012 for Maya, the undo bug is gone, but I simply don't trust it yet because they broke a lot of extra tools, so who knows if the undo doesn't break type of thing actually works. So now if I flooded that, I'm going to take this head, turn it up, and I can tell it's not exactly going where I want it to. This neck is not staying in place, and that's not good. I'm also going to parent this back over here, so when I turn the head, the jaw controller moves along with it. Okay, so what I like to do is I select this whole bottom. So if I double click on it, Control F9 converts it all to vertex. I can go to my component editor now, and for the neck joint, I can scroll all the way to the bottom, type 1. That'll make sure that stays put. So we're kind of getting there, very slowly. And now I'm going to take my brush, selecting the neck, this much lower value, click back in here, increase your brush size, I'm going to brush this. I'm going to concern myself with the right half right now because it would mirror weights. So I'm going to start brushing that back. So we kind of have the neck in the area we want it to be at. And slowly brush the area on top. So pull this back a little bit more. It's not going to be perfect at first. We'll slowly bring it back to where we need to be at. So I'm just barely tapping some of these to kind of pull them back. Alright, now that we have this much in, and rotate the head back to where it used to be, select my head, go to Skin, edit Smooth Skin, Mirror Skin Weight Options, reset my settings, and click Apply. It'll take it from the right side to the left, see positive X to negative X. And let's look at this now. Okay, it's looking okay. There's definitely a lot of problems, definitely in the back. I want to get this whole front area fixed first. So an easy way to do it is turn the character's head to the side. And when you do this, this line here, if you model the sternocleidomastoid and mastoid properly, should be perfectly straight. So what we need to do is go in here, start painting the weights so that this straightens out. So that's straightening a little bit. And you go back to my head, start pulling some of this in. So that too straightens out just a bit. I'm just barely tapping some of this. Pull this back a bit, pull that back a bit, and now we have a nice smooth line going across. So now if it looks all across, it still looks pretty good. This area down here we can see it needs a little more control and influence from the neck, from the head. So it's barely tapping those. It pulls it across for us. Okay. I'm going to mirror weights again. Click that. Now check the other half. Good. Now let's bend the head back to our next problem happens right here. So that means this part is not pressed back enough and we're having this collapse too far in. So I'm going to take my neck joint here. Pull some of this back just a bit, not too much though. In turn with the head joint, pull some of this back down. So it flattens just a little bit. I'll take down my opacity so it's been lighter. And there we go. It's very lightly pulling these back to what you need them to be at. Whatever you do, do not press shift to smooth or you start breaking things. Just add very carefully. Okay. Take this ring, bring it back to where it used to be. Mirror skin weights. And there we go. Pretty easy. Next part we need, get the jaw open. If I just pull this down just a little bit, not too much. I'm going to go in here now and use our jaw joint. Add value of 1. We know for sure all these right here should go straight to 1. So I'm painting all of those. Those are to 1. Means everything in the middle should go straight to 1. So I'm going to paint and pull upwards. Upwards. It's also explained in the other video I made. Upwards. Okay. These are the ones that matter the most. And now I'm going to display polygons, back face culling. So I don't accidentally paint the back of the face. Take down my value and my opacity. Start pulling these down. So let's keep the opacity up still. And paint these all down. Maybe a little bit stronger. Get that jaw in. Okay, so again, this is kind of work right now. It's not bad. Now let's get the mouth really open, much wider. I have to fix this. It's too strong, so back to the head. Pull this down. Pull some of these values back up. After seeing this, you kind of understand how these tools work with each other. Now we have that working. Let's have it so it also works when you twist the jaw. So the lines are uneven. You want to make it so it's all nice and smooth. So you want to paint it in a way where it smooths itself out. Just like so. We're going to pull this just a bit. Alright. 0 again. Mirror your skin weights. Select the jaw. It looks good. Let's check the bottom. Just very subtly painting across. That one, the jaw opens. Doesn't look so wrong in this area. Okay, good. Zero out everything again. Select that. Mirror skin. And there we go. Pretty easy. Hope that was useful for you guys to know the little problem we have between version 2012 and every other previous version.